Citizens of Tertium, by decree of his most holy emperor, you are found guilty. Guilty of wanting a new main in Darktide. And the Arbites has arrived, complete with shields, shotguns, cyberhounds, and a moral code that starts and ends with, because I said so. But here's the question. Are they truly the Emperor's ultimate enforcers, ready to bring law and order to the Hive? Or are they just another Underhive desk jockey with a broken data slate and a dog that ignores commands? Today, we're diving deep, like dive headfirst into the sump deep, into Darktide's newest class, the Arbites, that launched June 23rd alongside the huge Battle for Tertium update. I'm going to talk about launch hype, the fun factor, the pain points, the bugs, and by bugs I mean enough to qualify for an exterminatus order, the balance debates, and what Fatshark's patches mean for the Arbites moving forward. Let's start with the poster child, or rather, the poster canine of the Arbites kit, the Cyber-Mastiff that is. This is not some cosmetic pet that you ignore after the novelty wears off. This dog has teeth, claws, and an appetite for heretic kneecaps. The Mastiff can sprint across the battlefield and instantly pin elite enemies, whether it's mutants, whether it's gunners, whether it's the crushers, or even some of the bosses, although in the case of bosses it doesn't really pin, but I'm getting ahead of myself. It leaps into the fray, stuns targets, disrupts ambushes, and if that's not enough, you can even allow it to perform remote detonations. Imagine your dog just casually fetching a grenade and then just delivering it right back to the enemy with interest. Players are obsessed. This isn't just a novelty mechanic, it's one of the most satisfying crowd control tools in the game. It turns tense firefights into manageable brawls, and reviewers have called it the grim dark Wallace and Gromit of Darktide, although I find that a little bit weird, but I can't stop picturing it. It's not really overpowered in raw damage, but the utility is insane. Locking down priority targets so your team can breathe, reload, or just stand there admiring how good their armor looks under the Hive's flickering neon lights. Of course, the Arbites isn't just a dog wrangler. You're also the personification of I am the law. Your melee options, particularly the shield and maul combo, let you slam into enemy lines like an armored freight train. And the shield, while it gives you absurd survivability and is perfect for holding choke points, you also have the maul, which delivers chunky, satisfying smashes. Then, you've also got the rain side of the kit. Arbites aren't exactly known to be snipers, they're enforcers. Shotguns and auto pistols make up the core arsenal, keeping fights up close and personal. Although, I personally am a little bit partial towards the bolt gun. Every pull of the trigger feels like it could be the last sound a heretic hears before the trial concludes, with a verdict of guilty by reason of existence. The community's verdict was overwhelmingly positive, and the phrase shield weapons are amazing just comes up over and over on the forums. It's not just tanking, it's controlling the battlefield, pushing enemies exactly where you want them, and letting your Cyber-Mastiff clean up the stragglers. That said though, the dog does have arguably one flaw. It sometimes behaves like it's chasing a squirrel in a park instead of purging heretics. Picture this. You line up the perfect power swing on a mauler, you're about to get that satisfying crunch, and bam! Fido launches himself into the same target, knocking them out just out of reach. Your swing misses, you have to charge up for another heavy swing, and it's just frustrating. It's not exactly game-breaking, but it's the kind of thing that makes you mutter under your breath like a guardsman waiting for a resupply. Some players love the chaos. It adds personality, makes the dog feels alive. Others just want it to stay out of their firing line. Either way, you'll learn to adapt, or yell the words heal in increasingly creative ways. And now, the ugly part of the Vox transmission. Several Arbites talents currently don't function as intended right now. Execution order, efficient killer, mallocator, no lenience, writ of execution. Some of these are just inconsistent, others might as well be decorative. Having said all of that, Fatshark has confirmed that these issues exist and they're targeting a fix in patch 1.8.5 that is slated for this month. Until then, running certain builds means equipping deadweight. You still get by, don't get me wrong, they still work, but not as they're intended to. Arbites has enough baseline strength that it can kind of overcompensate for these things not working. But it's frustrating knowing some of your kit is basically powered by wishful thinking. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war, and apparently QA tickets. So, here is where the inquisitorial trial gets interesting. Are Arbites overpowered? There are two sides of this coin. Some players point to the sheer flexibility of the talent tree, offense, defense, utility, without being forced into huge trade-offs. They can adapt to almost any team composition which feels strong. But then there's the other side of it. Others who are pushing back, pointing out that a high-end Zealot or Ogrim builds can absolutely outdamage and outclear an Arbites. In their view, Arbites just feel dominant because they're thematic, visually impressive, and their tools are very visible in a match. It's like comparing a bolter to a lasgun. The bolter feels cooler, but the lasgun's still quietly doing work. Personally, I think Arbites sits in a pretty good place. When the kit is working, I feel like there is a lot of build variety and build options that are available throughout the entire talent tree, which allows people to play in a playstyle that they enjoy without feeling that they are underperforming. When the Arbites dropped, it wasn't just a case of, here's a new class, have fun situation. The Battle of Tertium was a free update which came with a complete shakeup. It overhauled onboarding, so new players get into the fight faster. The mission board was given a complete rework, so now you can unlock any mission at any difficulty without praying to the RNG gods that you get the tile set that you want to play. They added so many new voice lines and interactions and post-mission debriefs for extra immersion and actually telling the story of Darktide. They even expanded the Mortis Trials and the Inferno event that came with the launch of the Battle for Tertium update for like a kind of endgame spice, quote unquote. This honestly was by far one of the biggest injections of content that Darktide has seen since launch, and Arbites came riding in on that momentum like a riot cop in full plate. I feel with this update, Fatshark's approach this time was very different. Instead of hammering the strongest weapons with nerfs until they're sad or flavorless, they're focusing on buffing underperformers, which we saw through the patch notes. A bunch of weapons got buffed up, a bunch of weapons got uplifted to the point where they were actually comparable and actually fun to use now. Arbites weapons, already solid, feel even better when compared to the rest of the sandbox. It is a nice change in a live service environment where the usual rhythm tends to be buff, nerf, repeat. For now, more tools feel viable, which is honestly a healthy choice for the game. So, what's next? Patch 1.8.5 in August will be the first real test, where they're going to be fixing the talents, potentially tweaking the Mastiff's AI, and addressing any balance concerns that bubble up in the meantime. If Fatshark keeps their current philosophy, Arbites will probably remain in a very good place. The danger I personally feel is overcorrecting, dialing back the fun in the name of balance. Personally, I would rather keep my Space Dog and my Riot Shield exactly as they are, thank you very much. If anything, it would be better if you bring up the other classes, the other weapons and everything else up to speed in the current sandbox, so that way they are all viable options, alternatives, side grades, if you will. So, just a quick recap. When it comes to it, the fun factor, it is top tier. You get a cybernetic attack dog, a riot shield, a shotgun, a power maul, and all the other weapons as well. Bugs, yes, they exist, and they matter, but fixes are on the way, thankfully. When it comes to balance, it is very flexible, very satisfying, but not top of the damage charts, not really. A endgame Ogrin will tend to outperform an Arbites more often than not, and I've seen this multiple times on Havoc 40 runs. And regarding the update context, it is part of a massive overhaul that makes the whole game, feel a lot more fresher. Honestly, when it comes to the Arbites, if you love thematic, law-enforcing gameplay with a splash of canine chaos, Arbites is worth your time right now. If you're a meta chaser who wants every perk functional, maybe wait for the patch. Citizen, you have been found guilty of watching this entire video without enacting the holy rite of the algorithm. The sentence is eternal service to the Emperor's channel. Press like to appease the machine spirit, subscribe to uphold the Imperial law in the comments, and ring the bell so you're summoned for the next briefing. Until then, remember, in Tertium there is only war, and sometimes head pats for the Emperor's goodest boy.